Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be diving deep into David's presentation on measuring marketing success with data and analytics. Now, he's really focused on helping businesses track their marketing ROI. And I got to say, some of the things he was talking about with pet ownership and these website traffic patterns really stood out to me. I think there's some interesting insights in there that might surprise you too. So,
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good place to start. I mean, the whole idea of businesses struggling to measure their ROI, it's a real thing. It's something that a lot of companies just really grapple with.
yeah, it really does seem like a common pain point for a lot of people. Why is that? What makes it so tricky to figure out, if your marketing's actually working or not?
I think a lot of it comes down to the omni-channel environment that we're all living in these days. Customers interact with brands across so many different touch points now. Think about it, right? You see an ad on social media, then you do a Google search, you go to a website, and then maybe you even get an email later. I mean, it gets really difficult to sort of pinpoint which of those interactions actually led to somebody making a purchase.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, with so many different moving parts, it feels like you're almost trying to solve a puzzle, but you're missing half of the pieces.
Exactly. It's not really about, saying, oh, this one channel is responsible for all of our success. It's more about understanding how all those touch points work together.
So how do we do that? I mean, David was talking about a media intelligence command center. Is that part of the solution? What exactly did he mean by that?
Yeah, so what he's talking about is essentially having a centralized system, a place to kind of keep track of all the different media activity that's related to your brand, your competitors, and just the marketplace in general. It's really about using those AI-powered tools that are out there to analyze these huge data sets, the kind of stuff that would just be impossible for you to do manually.
AI analyzing all this data, it sounds incredibly futuristic.
It does kind of sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but these tools are becoming more and more accessible all the time. And the great thing about them is they can help us move beyond those really basic, surface level metrics like likes and follows. We can start looking at things that are actually important, website traffic from specific regions, conversion rates, and even customer lifetime value.
So those are the KPIs that we should really be focusing on.
I think so. You can think of them as the key performance indicators that, really give you a solid understanding of how effective your marketing is. Is it actually working? Are people in your target market actually visiting your website? Are they doing the things that you want them to do? Like, are they signing up for a newsletter? Are they making a purchase? And are you attracting the kind of customers who are going to stick around and continue to, contribute to your business for a long time? Those are the questions that we should be trying to answer.
That makes a lot of sense. So instead of, getting caught up in vanity metrics like how many likes did we get, it's about focusing on the numbers that actually tie back to, real business growth.
100%. It's about going deeper, moving beyond just that surface level engagement and really looking at the metrics that actually drive results.
One of the things that really stood out to me from David's presentation was his analysis of Buddy Cloud. For those of you who don't know, they're a pet healthcare company. They've got a really strong presence over in Japan, but their website had zero traffic coming from Malaysia.
Yeah, that's a really good example of why focusing on location-specific KPIs is so important, especially if you're trying to, expand into new markets. I mean, Malaysia has a huge pet ownership rate, but Buddy Cloud wasn't showing up in any of the local search results, and their website just wasn't optimized for Malaysian keywords.
So it's almost like they were completely invisible to their target audience over there.
Pretty much. They had this, great product and a really successful track record in one market, but they completely missed this crucial step. They didn't tailor their online presence to, the specific needs and preferences of their Malaysian audience.
Yeah, so it's a good reminder that, even if you have a fantastic product, you still need to have a really solid data-driven strategy if you want to reach the right people.
That's a great point. Data can be a powerful guide. It can help you really understand your audience, tailor your message, and just make sure that all your marketing efforts are actually hitting the mark.
So how do we do that? I mean, this is all fascinating, but if I'm being honest with you, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by all this data. Where do we even begin? How do we make sense of it all?
Yeah, I get that. It's a really common feeling. And that's where consumer data platforms, or CDPs as they're often called, come into play.
I've heard that term before, but I'm not going to lie. I'm still a little fuzzy on what a CDP actually does.
Okay, so imagine you have all of your data, all of it from all these different sources, your website, social media, customer interactions, everything. And imagine if you could bring all of that together in one place. That's basically what a CDP does.
So it's like having a one-stop shop for all your customer data.
Exactly. And the cool thing is when you bring all that data together, you start to see patterns and get these insights that you just wouldn't be able to see otherwise.
Okay, that's starting to make more sense. But can you give me a few concrete examples? Like, how does analyzing something like website traffic actually translate into like actionable marketing strategies?
Sure. So let's say you're looking at your website traffic and you notice there's this big spike in traffic coming from a particular region right after you launch a new campaign. Well, that tells you that that campaign really resonated with that audience. So you can double down on, whatever tactics you were using. Or let's say you see that people are bouncing off of a specific landing page really quickly. Well, that might be a sign that the content isn't engaging, or maybe the page design needs to be tweaked a little bit.
So it's almost like you have this magnifying glass and you can really see, what's working and what needs adjusting.
Exactly. It's about using data to fine-tune your approach and, make sure that your marketing is delivering the best possible results.
This is all making a lot of sense. But do you think this is something that only big companies can do? The ones with the huge budgets?
Not at all. I'd actually argue that data-driven marketing is even more important for small businesses. You probably have limited resources, so you really need to be smart about where you're investing your time and money.
So it's not just a luxury, it's a necessity for businesses of all sizes.
It really is. It's about leveling the playing field, giving every business the tools they need to compete.
I like that. I'm really starting to see how data can empower businesses, to make smarter decisions, really connect with their audience on a deeper level, and ultimately achieve, greater success. So did David share any specific examples of, how businesses are putting this into practice?
Yeah, for sure. He had a few really interesting case studies that he went through in his presentation. He analyzed three different businesses, Buddy Cloud, Green Carbon, and AlgaBio, and they each offer these really unique insights into the power of data-driven marketing. Let's dive into those a little bit. So you already know about Buddy Cloud and, some of the challenges they were having in Malaysia.
Right. They were missing out on this huge market just because their website wasn't optimized for, Malaysian search terms or language preferences. It's crazy how something as simple as that can have such a big impact.
It really is. Now, Green Carbon is kind of an interesting contrast to that. So they're a Malaysian company. They focus on carbon credits, but they were actually getting most of their website traffic from India.
Wait, really? How does that even happen? I mean, it sounds like they were doing something right to be getting so much traffic.
Yeah, they were, but it wasn't the right kind of traffic. You know what I mean? Their SEO was great. Like they were ranking well for all the, general keywords in their industry, but they hadn't really optimized their content for Malaysian search terms. And they weren't really focused on, local industry trends. So they were showing up in searches by people in India, but not so much in their own backyard.
Oh, wow. So they had this visibility problem in their own target market, even though they were getting a lot of visitors overall.
Exactly. It's not just about getting traffic to your site. It's about getting the right traffic, people who are actually interested in what you have to offer and who are, located in your target market.
Makes sense. So what about AlgaBio? What were some of their challenges and opportunities?
So AltaBio is in the plant-based food and biofuel space, and their case study was really all about recognizing and then, capitalizing on this huge market opportunity in Malaysia.
I'm guessing that opportunity has something to do with the growing demand for plant-based products.
You got it. David's analysis showed just how much potential there is for plant-based foods in Malaysia, especially among Gen Z consumers. They're really passionate about sustainability and, healthy eating, which aligns perfectly with AlgaBio's, chlorella-based products.
Chlorella, that's a type of algae, right? What makes it such a good ingredient?
It's incredibly nutrient rich, and it's a really sustainable and high-yield alternative to, soy protein. It's kind of the perfect ingredient for people who are, environmentally conscious and who are looking for, healthy and ethical food choices.
So they have this incredible product, and it aligns with, all the firm market trends. What kind of data-driven strategies did David recommend?
Well, he really emphasized the importance of building brand awareness and engagement, among Gen Z consumers. He suggested creating targeted campaigns that, really highlight the unique benefits of chlorella. Think social media campaigns on TikTok and Instagram, partnering with influencers who are already promoting a healthy and sustainable lifestyle, and creating content that focuses on, easy and delicious plant-based recipes.
It sounds like a really smart strategy.
It's all about understanding your audience, and tailoring your message and your channels to reach them where they are.
So we've seen three very different companies, each with their own unique challenges and opportunities. But it seems like the common thread here is the importance of data-driven decision-making, whether it's about optimizing your website for local search, targeting the right audience, or capitalizing on, emerging market trends. Data provides those insights that you need to make really strategic choices.
I completely agree. Data is a powerful tool. It can really guide your marketing efforts, help you understand your customers, refine your strategies. and ultimately achieve greater success. But it's not just about collecting data for the sake of having data, right? It's about knowing what to look for, how to interpret those insights, and how to actually translate those insights into action.
It's about making the data work for you.
Exactly. And that's where a solid understanding of KPIs or, key performance indicators comes in.
Let's talk about KPIs for a second. I know we touched on it earlier, but I think it's worth digging a little bit deeper. What are some of the most important KPIs that businesses should be tracking, especially when it comes to measuring marketing success?
It really depends on, your specific goals, but there are some core KPIs that are pretty relevant across most industries. I think website traffic is always a good place to start. You want to see how many people are visiting your website, where they're coming from, what pages they're looking at. It gives you a sense of, your overall reach and how effective your content and your SEO strategies are.
So it's not just about looking at the total number of visitors. It's about understanding their behavior on your site.
Right. Where are they clicking? How long are they staying on each page? Are they bouncing off of certain pages really quickly? All of that can help you identify, areas where you can improve.
Okay, what about conversion rates? We talked about that a little bit before. Why are they so important?
Conversion rates tell you how many of your website visitors are actually taking that desired action. Whether that's making a purchase, signing up for your email list, or requesting a demo. It's about turning those website visits into, tangible results.
So it's one thing to have people visit your website, but it's another thing entirely to get them to actually engage with your business in a meaningful way.
Exactly. A high conversion rate means that your website is doing a good job of guiding people toward that desired outcome. If your conversion rates are low, well, that might be a sign that you need to rethink your website, design your messaging, or even your overall sales funnel.
It sounds like tracking conversion rates is really essential for any business that relies on its website to generate leads or make sales.
100%. And the beauty of data analytics is that you can really drill down into the specifics. You can track conversion rates for different landing pages, different campaigns, different traffic sources. That level of, granularity can give you some really valuable insights.
Okay, so we've talked about website traffic and conversion rates. What about social media? How do we measure the success of our social media marketing?
Social media metrics can be a little tricky to really interpret, but there are definitely some key performance indicators that you can track to gauge, how well you're doing. Things like likes, shares, comments, and saves are important because they tell you how much your content is resonating with people.
Engagement is great, but it's just one piece of the puzzle, right? How do we connect it back to actual business goals?
You're right. Beyond engagement, you also want to be tracking things like website clicks, lead generation, and even sales that can be directly attributed to your social media campaigns. A lot of platforms have built-in analytics dashboards that can, help you track these things.
So it's about setting clear goals for each campaign and then using the data to see if you're actually hitting those targets.
Exactly. And remember, the key is to constantly be experimenting and refining your approach. Try different content formats, different posting times, different targeting strategies. See what resonates best with your audience.
So it sounds like social media can be a really powerful tool. If you use it strategically and you have the data to back up your decisions, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together now. Understanding your audience, crafting the right message, choosing the right platforms, and then using data to track your progress and make adjustments along the way.
It's a continuous cycle, right? Always learning and refining.
Exactly. And we were talking about customer lifetime value as a key KPI earlier. Can you remind me why that's so important? And how can businesses use data to increase it?
Yeah, so customer lifetime value, or CLTV as it's often called, is basically a measure of the total revenue that you expect to generate from a single customer over the entire relationship. It's really about recognizing that acquiring a new customer is just the first step. The real goal is to, keep those customers coming back for more.
So it's not just about making that one-time sale. It's about building loyalty and turning those one-time buyers into repeat customers.
Exactly. And data can play a huge role in that. For example, you can use data to identify your most valuable customer segments. The ones who spend the most, the ones who buy the most frequently, or the ones who are most likely to recommend you to their friends. And then you can create these, targeted campaigns and loyalty programs to really nurture those relationships and encourage repeat purchases.
It's like that old saying, right? It costs more to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one.
Exactly.
So data can help you make the most of those existing relationships.
It definitely can. And that brings us back to the importance of first-party data. Remember, first-party data is the information that you collect directly from your customers, whether it's through your website, your social media channels, or, your CRM system. It's really valuable because it gives you those direct insights into their preferences, their behavior, and your needs.
And it's data that you can collect, ethically and transparently. You're not relying on third-party cookies or anything like that.
Right, it's data that customers are willingly sharing with you, which means you can feel good about using it to create these, personalized experiences.
Okay, so first-party data helps you understand your customers. Where does a consumer data platform fit into all of this?
So a CDP brings all of that customer data together in one place. You get this unified view of each customer, and that allows you to, go beyond just basic segmentation and create these truly personalized experiences. For example, you could send someone personalized product recommendations based on their past purchases. You could tailor your email marketing based on their, website browsing behavior. You could even offer proactive customer support based on, any issues they might be having or feedback that they've given you.
So it's about using data to anticipate your customers' needs and
Exactly.
deliver experiences that feel, tailored to them.
That's the power of a CDP. It turns data into actionable insights, and it allows you to build, stronger relationships with your customers.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I have a much better understanding of, how data can really transform marketing.
I'm glad to hear that.
Any final words of wisdom before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway here is that data isn't just for, the big companies or for data scientists. It's a tool that's available to every business, and it can have a real impact on your success. So start by identifying those key metrics that are most important to your business, and then, use the tools and resources that are out there to track those metrics and really start to glean insights from the data. It's a journey, not a destination. The world of data analytics is always changing, so stay curious, keep experimenting, and always be open to, learning new things.
Fantastic advice. I'm feeling really inspired to put all of this into practice. So, to our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of data-driven marketing. We hope you've gained some valuable insights today and some actionable strategies to help you measure your success, connect with your audience in more meaningful ways, and ultimately grow your business. The power of data is at your fingertips. Use it wisely and watch your marketing efforts thrive.